I thank you guys so much for tuning in to yet another episode of My Orchid Adventures with me, Maria Young. So in today's episode, what we're going to be doing is showcasing a wide variety of Dendrobium nobilis. As you guys know, we are coming out of the winter and we are coming into the spring, and indeed, 'tis the season to be blooming for our Dendrobium nobilis. And this one in particular right here is my species variety. It is a monstrosity of a Dendrobium nobile, if I do say so myself. And what I love most about this Dendrobium is the fact that it is in its more natural state, where you are seeing it more pendulous and indeed just having that cascading, sweeping flow and being capable of really showcasing the abundance of blooms that it has. And as you can see, it does have quite a number of blooms. Now, normally when you do purchase your Dendrobium nobilis, either at an orchid nursery or at an orchid show, you will find them staked up and growing more upright. And that's basically for the maintenance, the upkeep, and also being capable of saving some space. Now, as you can see here, this is quite a monster. Can you imagine having to grow this indoors? It would be quite difficult. So indeed, this is why I grow this outdoors, so I can showcase it more beautifully and naturally. Now, this indeed is an orchid that needs a dry winter's rest. And if you guys want more information on different varieties of orchids that do need that dry winter's rest and exactly what you need to do to care for them, then go ahead and click on the link right here and it'll take you to that video now. But as for us, we're gonna go ahead and get the Dendrobium nobile party started, and we're gonna do it right now. Bam, 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 and boom. Now, before we do begin, I want to let you guys know that all of these orchids right here are Dendrobium nobile hybrids, and all of them are fragrant as well. And let's go ahead and get this Dendrobium nobile party started off with a bang. This is a Dendrobium nobile Oriental Smile Fantasy AM AOS awarded. And indeed, I must admit, this is one of my most favorite Dendrobium nobiles right here, because indeed it has such an awesome color combination, that explosion and fusion of that tropical sunset right there in each and every one of the blooms. You are seeing that nice fusion of the magenta, also an orangey type of yellow, and deep into the throat area you are noticing that very, very nice canary yellow in there as well. And I don't know how close you can see, but can you see that fur that's on there? Very velvety to the touch. Indeed, an orchid that you want to reach out and touch and also pet. Such a beautiful and stunning Dendrobium nobile right here. And let us not forget that it is also fragrant as well. And this orchid right here is quite the grower. As you can see, look at that. That is a keiki, a very nice sized keiki, and it actually has a good 3 keikis coming up on here as well. So this is going to be quite the grower. This Dendrobium right here is a bridal red celebration. And another wonderful feature about this orchid is the fact that it does have very nice sized blooms. I would say about 3.5 to even 4 inches in diameter on these blooms. So indeed, nice size. And if we take a look, you're seeing that very nice deep magenta color. Also, you're seeing in there a white outline. As you can see, very nice contrast. And in the center of the actual throat area, you're noticing that egg yolk color. And then deep within the very center, you are also noticing that very deep maroon color as well. And another feature that I can appreciate about this Dendrobium nobile is the fact that it has a very wide mouth, as you can see right there, almost like a bowl shape. Indeed, very beautiful, very eye-catching, and you already know it is very soft and furry and velvety to the touch as well. So indeed, nice color combination on this, also very fragrant and very beautiful. And right here, you are seeing a very huge Dendrobium right here, extending over 2 feet tall. You are also seeing lots of basal keikis coming up from here, so yes, indeed, quite a grower this Dendrobium is. And of course, what I love the most about this Dendrobium is the very extreme color contrast on the blooms. And this dendrobium right here is To My Kids Fantastic Story. And as you can see, this dendrobium does give you an abundance of blooms. And the bloom size on this dendrobium can be up to about 3 inches in diameter, although I will say there is a variation in the sizes. As you can see right here, these ones are actually about 2.5 inches in diameter as well. So a variation of the sizes of blooms on this particular dendrobium. Now, when we talk about extreme color contrast, this is it right here. So extreme is the contrast and the colors of this bloom. Now, as you are seeing that very nice, snowy, pure white right there on the petals and the sepal, also the outer rim of the lip area. And if we take a close look, you are also noticing that very pink blush at the very tips of the petals and some on the sepals as well. Now, if we take a very close look at that inner throat area, oh my, check that out. How dark and extreme is that purple? Totally extreme right there. Also, you are seeing a very faint line of a green around that dark purple as well. I don't know exactly how this camera is capturing it, but there is indeed that iridescent glow of that green in there as well. So what a beautiful contrast in colors. Very extreme, very bold, and this indeed will catch your attention. And up next we have a Dendrobium Red Senator Maxim. And here's yet another dendrobium with a very nice size in its blooms. I would say it's about 3.5 to maybe 4 inches in diameter on these beautiful blooms. And again, you're seeing quite a nice color contrast right there. You are noticing on the edges and the outer part of the petals and the sepal a very nice flush and blush of color of that magenta, also on the outer rim of the actual lip area as well. Then you're going to notice a white right there intermingled also along this ring right here of the throat area. You're noticing that pristine snowy white right there. And take a look at that center. Oh me, oh my, what a bold and very dark, intense color right there. A very deep purple, almost seeming to be black in there. As you can see in the center also, there is a light ring of an intense yellow around that very deep purple. So indeed, another orchid with a very beautiful, extreme contrast in color. And will you check out this beautiful topiary of an orchid right here, almost appearing to be some sort of bonsai tree. Indeed, what a beautiful display this orchid is. And this particular orchid is a Dendrobium Fairy Moon Sweetie. And I do have to say, it is so very sweet. A nice piece of eye candy, if I do say so myself. And what absolutely amazes me about this orchid is if we take a look right here, you're not noticing that many canes. I would say maybe about 4 or 5 canes, and actually 2 canes that are actually mature enough to bloom. So how in the world is it capable of blooming all of these blooms right here? Because it is an incredible amount of blooms. It's so bushy and so massive. So how is that possible with simply just 2 canes? Well, those 2 canes actually branched off with its keikis. And if we take a look right here, here's 2 keikis, and then it goes off and becomes a blooming size cane. And then if we take a look right here, there's another huge mature keiki right there, also blooming. So indeed, even though it's only 2 canes, there's actually 3 keikis that are mature and large, and they're also blooming as well. So let us get a better look at these gorgeous, gorgeous blooms. And these blooms right here actually display different shades of yellow. Also intermingled, you are seeing that nice hint of pink on the outer edges of the petals and the sepal. And then you are noticing that very nice egg yolk yellow in the very center as well. Indeed, just a nice, very beautiful spring color combination right here. And these blooms just really let you know that spring is indeed in the air and how beautiful spring can be. Now, this dendrobium right here is yet another huge dendrobium and is one of my favorites. This orchid is a Dendrobium Lucky Angel Smash. Now, the blooms and the amount of blooms on this Dendrobium nobile is quite spectacular. And I do have to say, I believe that it is one that has one of the most adorable blooms ever. The color combination on this particular dendrobium right here is very gorgeous. As you are seeing that very intense magenta color on the outer tips and the edges of the petals and the sepal. Also, you are seeing that nice pristine white there and a very nice sunny yellow. And again, that nice white on the middle part of the lip. And then you are seeing that intense magenta color right there again. And then deep into the throat area, you are going to notice quite a dark burgundy raspberry color. And indeed, it shows up in a marking and a pattern. Some markings that appear to be whiskers, or at least that's what I see in there. So indeed, this is a frisky little orchid with whiskers in the center. And I do want to make sure I point out that this dendrobium right here, I believe, has one of the most sweetest and most pleasant fragrances. And here's yet another dendrobium with very big blooms. I think this one actually has one of the largest blooms that I have seen, measuring up to about 4 inches to 4.5 inches on this dendrobium. And this dendrobium is a Rainbow Smile Happy Swan. And the primary color on this dendrobium right here is a very clean and pristine white. Now, you are also going to notice a very vague hint of pink on the outer edges of the petals. But you can also see that it is a very thin line of that magenta pink, and if you don't take a close look, you may not even notice that it is there. And in the center of the lip area, or within the outer rim of the throat area, you are noticing that very pleasant egg yolk yellow. Also, deep within the center of the throat area, you are noticing those markings again. Very dark burgundy, very raspberry-ish in color, and very nice character to the orchid. And what I do appreciate most about this orchid is the very delicate ripples that it has in its petals, and also on the outer throat area and the lip area as well. Definitely nice form to the orchid. You can see it's very flattened and very broad shape in the petals, and also again a very broad lip as well, just forming into a perfect bloom. And this Dendrobium nobile right here is a Love Memory Fizz. Even though this is a very large dendrobium, you are noticing that the blooms are not that big at all. As a matter of fact, they are very dainty and quite adorable. But indeed, as you can see, there is a number and an abundance of these blooms throughout this entire plant. And the primary colors on this dendrobium is a very nice, clean, pristine white, as you can see right there. And then you're also noticing on the outer edges of the petals and the sepal, and also at the very tip of this tongue right here, you are noticing that nice blush of light pink right there. And indeed, in the very center, can you see that? A very dark purple. Very nice colors in this dendrobium. And I do have to say that once you do see this orchid, this lovely dendrobium, it is quite a fond memory indeed. And last but never least, this is yet another very large Dendrobium nobile right here. And indeed, it is one of my favorites. And this stunning orchid right here is a Dendrobium Yasuko Sugiyama Parade, AM and also AOS awarded. And oh my, such extreme and very wonderful, very beautiful and gorgeous colors right here. And I do have to say, quite a nice blend and a contrast. So indeed, we are noticing that very nice sunset color. You're noticing such a blend of yellows, also that nice pink right there, almost appearing to be an orange next to that yellow. And indeed, if we take a close look at the inner lip, my goodness, that is quite a dark maroonish color right there. And wow, what a beautiful contrast. And indeed, it's really making this orchid pop. And another very scrumptious feature on this orchid is the fact that it is deliciously fragrant, smelling almost fruity yet floral at the same time. Indeed, so many beautiful things going on with this Dendrobium, and is why this is my favorite. What a beautiful and magnificent explosion of colors right here. Very tropical, and indeed I am imagining sitting at the beach and just watching the beautiful sun go down. What a great ending to any orchid day. Now, as you guys can see, there's so many different varieties of Dendrobium nobilis. This is just the tip of the iceberg right here of what I have shown you. So I hope this video has inspired you to discover the wonderful world of these Dendrobium nobilis. And there you have it, folks. That is an absolute Dendrobium nobile wrap. Now, you guys are going to have to let me know exactly which ones were your favorite. And I think the ones that were my favorite were actually the ones that were the sunset colored ones. Because indeed, I am a true sucker for sunset colored orchids. Indeed, I am. You guys are also going to have to let me know exactly which ones do you have, because I want to know exactly which ones I should add onto my list. So indeed, do that by posting those comments below. I thank you guys so much for tuning in to yet another episode. Please be sure to like, share, and subscribe. Also, I am on Facebook, so you can join me there as well at My Orchid Adventures right on Facebook. If you guys want to write or perhaps send me something, you can do it at the address below. And you guys do know I am on eBay selling some phenomenal orchids, including some Dendrobiums as well. So check me out on my eBay page also. Thank you guys so much, and you guys already know, indeed, I do love you guys all. Mwah!